Nice!
Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Superion. Yes, today we are taking a look at all of the Arialbots and getting a feel for their robot modes, vehicle modes, and combined mode. So the first thing we need to do is just take a look at the bots themselves, because we got a whole group here. And first and foremost, we will start with Skydive. Nice gray jet with golden black wings, and he's actually done pretty well. And as you can see, he does have quite the armaments on his wings. These are his weapons: a double-barreled gun and his combiner weapon, which is a missile launcher. There is a port on the top if you want to move the missile launcher or the double-barreled gun to the top instead. But this is the best way to carry everything. Although it may be better to just have them go without. Okay. Next up, we got Fireflight, the red jet of the group. Has his nice white wings. Again, a couple guns on his wings right now. One of them being his combiner gun, which is a double-barreled blaster. And then a regular gun at the other side. Again, sculpted very well, nicely done. I like the paint details on the wings. I think it turned out very nice. And now we got Air Raid, which came out for the second wave, while the other guys were out in the first. But you got Air Raid here. Nice F-15 style jet, same as the Seekers, although his transformation scheme is a lot different. Again, he has the same weapons as Skydive, except his double-barreled gun is done in white plastic. If you take these off, there is an added feature with him where you can actually move the wings to adjust the level of flight he's at, which is a really nice touch. They didn't have to do that, but I'm glad they did. Oh no, he does have molded missiles on his wings as well. So he is pretty well armed. All of them seem to have some kind of weapon molded onto their wings, except for maybe Fireflight. So it's not like you have to have the robot mode weapons on them to make them look armed. As you can see, he has those nice wing stripes with Autobot symbols. Looks like they're designed to go with the wings fully back. But I think it's time we got a look at the new guy. And this is Slingshot's replacement, Alpha Bravo, who is a helicopter. He must have a hard time keeping up with the jets. I gotta say that much. But he is a well-armed helicopter. He has missiles on each side. He has a chain gun and dual chain guns at the bottom. And the combiner weapon actually works very well for him because you can use it as landing, like something to land on, since he doesn't have any skis, which is strange and I think was a missed opportunity. As you can see, he has a nice Autobot symbol on his back fins. And despite him not being Slingshot, he does have the stripings that are evocative of Slingshot. So they tried to make a new guy with a familiar look to him. And there are a lot of people actually saying that this will be the basis for Blastoff, which may be possible, and it's not impossible at least, but it's definitely going to be repainted into blades and probably vortex. So we will be seeing this mold again. Now, last but not least, gotta take a look at the leader, Silverbolt, who's mainly done in an off-white color. Yeah, he's not yellowed. This is actually the color he was molded in. And he's the big Concorde. You can have that nose pointing down like the jet's supposed to. Got the nice Autobot symbols on the wings, that nice long stripe. And look at all those windows. You can tell this is designed to be a huge jet. I mean, he's a bit out of scale with the other guys if you're going by those windows. So this is going to be one of the biggest jets of the bunch. But as you can see, he has his big gun at the bottom, which has a landing gear at the bottom of it. But if you'd rather go without, you can't take it off. And you have a flip out landing gear on that, so you can actually display him without the gun if you want. Don't even really need a landing gear, he just sits fine. Now Silverbolt does have that usual, pretty much traditional robot with a jet on his back look. Like, you can pretty much make out everything for the robot mode just looking at the undercarriage. Which is pretty common. The other guys, that's pretty similar. You know where the arms and legs are, you know where the head is. You know, it's the same all around. Even Alpha Bravo has that similarity. But that's been a thing for jet formers since the very beginning, so why fault it now? So anyway, do a quick comparison. I get the weapons off of these guys, except for Alpha Bravo because he can use them pretty well. The other guys don't need it. So I'm going to quickly do comparisons with the Universe 2.0 Energon Arialbots. So you got Silverbolt and Silverbolt. Big difference between them. Obviously, Combiner Wars Silverbolt is far more G1 accurate, given that this one was designed after a Cybertronian look. Then we'll go to Air Raid and his little jet. This one's a little closer to each other, but there's still a significant difference between the two. Fireflight and Air Raid are completely different planes when you look at them together with their Universe 2.0 counterparts. So yeah, I mean, there's a definite difference between those two. And, you know, just for the heck of it, we'll bring in Alpha Bravo and his predecessor, Slingshot. And, you know, since this is a different Slingshot, there's going to be a significant difference between the decos as well. So he'll be more effective when Combiner Wars Slingshot is finally released. But anyway, that about wraps up the vehicle modes. So I think it's time we got these guys into robot mode and see how they look there. Okay, now that we got the team in its robot mode, we got a nice group of bots here. I think we're going to start off with Fireflight this time. Just so you know, it looks pretty good. This is actually going to be the mold that Slingshot is going to be made from. So, got a pretty good idea on what he's going to look like right off the bat. But anyway, Fireflight is done pretty well. I do like the mix of blue, silver, white, and red. And I think it blends all well together. Head sculpt's done exceptionally nicely. And I like the way they did the silver paint on the top of the head and on the face mask with those nice painted blue eyes. So he looks pretty good. Now articulation is going to be pretty same across the board for the limbs. So you got a ball jointed head, left and right movement. You got ball jointed shoulders, bicep swivel, hinged elbows. Some have a soft detent to them, others just have friction. Nothing in the wrist. You do have a waist swivel. You have ball jointed hips, thigh swivel, nice hinged knee, good 90-degree angle, and that's about it. Nothing at the feet. So you got a decent amount of posability. The combiner limbs can become either, well, the combiner weapons can become guns to be held in the hands. So that's pretty good. And they look pretty nice. So yeah, Firefly looks pretty good. Next up would be Skydive, who's a nice mix of red, gray, and black. Looks really good. And his body is done exceptionally well. He has a very unique transformation step where his body actually hinges up, which is pretty cool. But his articulation is pretty much the same as Firefly's. Head sculpt is done very well. Real futuristic robot look. Love the blue eyes, the bronzish face. And he's done very nicely. And his weapons look pretty good in his hands. The double-barreled gun and the big missile launcher. Another nice feature is that they have really big feet, so they can stand very easily. Very stable guys. Except when someone knocks them over. Next up, Air Raid. Despite being a black jet, is a mostly white robot. It's an interesting inverse of colors. But he does look pretty good in robot mode. As you can see, he has the blackjack on his back. The wings actually fold up fully for robot mode. Or if you want, you can leave them down. It would be your choice. But But for the sake of the review, I'm going to just keep him up. Because it does help compact the backpack quite a bit. His head sculpt's also done pretty nicely. Nice silver face, blue eyes, and a blue skull cap, I guess. And it does have that nice blockhead feature from the old G1 toy, which is pretty cool. But all in all, he's built pretty well. They actually put the Autobot symbol on his shoulder, very tiny, but it's there. So, yeah, that's it for Air Raid. And last but not least, the new guy, Alpha Bravo. Looks very good. Chest is actually done in orange instead of red, so he kind of sticks out in robot mode. But, man, he is armed to the teeth. I mean, he has arm-mounted missiles, a chain gun, a twin-barrel chain gun. So, yeah, this guy's ready to shoot people to death. And Alpha Bravo's actually got a bit of a cult following, so he's a popular dude. I honestly think he was made for the Combiner Wars Optimus as some kind of secret plan to actually bring Energon Optimus to the Combiner Wars, because he does become the white helicopter that you see on Energon Optimus. Or Grand Convoy if you're going Superlink. But the head does have a bit of a slingshot vibe to it, given the orange right in the center. Although he has his own look with the visor and faceplate. But I think they were trying to really homage Slingshot, even though it's a new character, just to keep it a familiar Arialbot theme. All in all, he does look good. And I think he's a decent substitute for Slingshot. Although I'm eager to get Slingshot in the group. So, last but not least, let's take a look at Silverbolt. And since he is the bigger size, he'll have a different set of articulation. So he does have the ball-jointed head. He has ratcheted shoulders, both in and out and forward back. Bicep swivel. 90-degree elbow bend. Nothing at the wrist. No waist, which is unfortunate. Ratcheted hips. In and out and forward back. Swivels at the thigh. A nice deep knee bend, more than 90 degrees. And he has some foot articulation, forward back at the feet. So he's actually well articulated. His weapons include his insanely large blaster and a shield. So yeah, he's actually got a decent weapon set. They can combine to form the Superion gun, which is gigantic. And you'll see it in Superion's combined form. All in all, Silverbolt looks really good. And his head sculpt is definitely G1-esque. And that is a really nice silver they used for his face. The blue's pretty good too. I mean, they opted for painted eyes instead of the light piping, which works out pretty well since it makes sure they look alive no matter what. The rest of the body is also done pretty well. A lot of paint work and well, good molding to replicate the G1 look. Although I kind of wish they did the shoulders in white, or at least painted the like the molded in wing effects on the shoulder pads. Would have made it a little better. Takara's actually painting those, and Repro Labels actually released a set to really help replicate that G1 feel, which I hope will also include a red Autobot symbol instead of the silver one, even though the silver one's in a good spot and very clear. Other than that, these guys do look really good. Oops. So, time to get some comparisons in. And all I really got are the Universe 2.0 Arialbots, starting with Silverbolt and Silverbolt. Given the size classes for the Universe ones were actually shorter. Universe 2.0 Silverbolt being a deluxe instead of a Voyager. And I know there's an Ultra version of Silverbolt in the 2.0 series, but I don't have him. Next up, we'll bring in Air Raid with his scout-sized Energon counterpart. Significant difference in the sizes. The weapons are different. Like, he has more coherent weapons. And yeah. And unlike this guy, he is actually all black in all forms. Which is okay. I mean, nothing wrong with a black robot. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so that takes care of that one. Air Raid and his Universe counterpart, who is more brown and gray than red and gray, but there is some hints of red. But since he does become an entirely different plane, there is a significant difference between the two, aside from the size class. Fireflight here. If I can get him to stand up now. There we go. And we'll bring in the combiner, like the Universe Fireflight. Again, different aesthetic, different look. So, yeah, take it as it is. And last but not least, we'll compare Alpha Bravo to Slingshot. And yeah, again, size, class, and design types were completely different, so yeah, there's going to be a bit of a difference between these two, but considering that they are supposed to be similar characters, well, in this case it's not, but the others, they're supposed to be the same character. This is the only exception since Alpha Bravo is a new guy. But yeah, definite difference between these new Combiner Wars Arialbots and those Energon types. But anyway, we've talked enough about the robot modes, so I guess it's time to get these guys into their combined mode. Okay, and now that we got Superion fully combined and ready to go, He is a beast of a bot. I mean, he is huge. For quick comparison, let's bring Chromia in. And you can see Superion just towers over Chromia. So you got a nice leader size, roughly a leader size figure here, who looks awesome. Now, he is pretty G1 accurate in his look, at least at the chest plate and head. I mean, that head sculpt, that is awesome. Came right out of the G1 cartoon. I love it. The rest of the body is done pretty well. Each bot hits their combined mode form nicely. One major difference to the G1 is that, the backs of the jets are now in the front instead of behind. You know, that's kind of the way it is, so no big deal. I'm not going to worry about it. And Superion is a bit thinner than what Menasor was, but he's also more well proportioned. And you can bulk him out by adding the guns to the thighs, because what he really suffered from was spindly legs. So putting the guns on the thighs actually does help bulk him out a bit. But let's get into his articulation. He has left and right swivels at the head. It's not on a ball joint, so that's unfortunate. But does move left and right. He has shoulder joints on a ratchet, as well as in and out. He has double jointed elbows, bicep swivel, all thanks to the limb robot's hips and waist and knees. He also has a wrist swivel. And articulated thumbs and fingers, as well as a hand. So you can actually do a lot with the hands and feet, or the hands at least. And since they have that, let's bring this in. Since they have that little hole in the hand, you can fit any weapon with a 5mm peg in it, which will really give him a lot of options for weapons. As you can see, he can even hold the limb robot hands. So yeah, you've got plenty of options for weapons on this guy. Now, unfortunately, he does not have a waist joint, just due to how he transforms, but he does have forward, back, and in and out ratcheted hips. He has ratcheted knees. He has a thigh swivel. He also has a swivel right below the knee. Or right above the knee, I'm sorry. So he's got plenty of swivels at the hips, but or on the legs, but there's no waist swivel, which is unfortunate. But he does look really good. And you can still get a fair amount of posing out of him. So it's not like he's a brick, like his G1 self was. Unfortunately, I don't own a G1 Superion, so I can't compare him to that. But what I can do is bring in Menasor, so you can get a good size comparison between the two. get Superion straight. Just so we can get a more accurate look at the heights. And when you get a good look at him, Menasor does seem to be the bigger of the two, although Superion's better proportioned. In articulation-wise, I think Menasor may have a slight advantage, given that he has a waist swivel and a ball-jointed head, although Superion does have a little bit more options in the hips. So it's a hard call between them on which one has the better articulation and stuff. Superion does feel like it's a better proportioned figure, so I'm sure a lot of people will look at him as the better of the two. Personally, the only flaw I can really think of is that these antennae are way too gummy, and it's hard to get them positioned correctly. Other than that, yeah, he's a really solid combiner, and I do love him. We'll get Menasor out of the way real quick. And before we get into the next comparison, I do want to bring in Power Glide. Power Glide! Sorry, I just love to do that. And show off that he can be held by Superion, since he is supposed to be the 6th Arialbot now, and become this nice little blaster. And yeah, that blaster end does not want to stay together. As you can see, he does fit well as a blaster there. Or, if you prefer, you can attach him to the Superion gun, provided you don't de-transform him in the process. And make a blaster so thick and huge that he can't even hold it up. Yeah. Got that option. Unfortunately, it seems that Firefly's hips are a bit too loose to hold him up correctly, though. Might just be mine, and I think it might be his knees instead of his hips. But maybe a little future floor polish will fix that. Tighten him up a bit. Put Power Glide right here in Alpha Bravo's capable hands. But next up, we're going to do a comparison with Universe 2.0 Superion, who lost a foot thing. There we go. And as you can see, Superion is, like Combiner Wars Superion is much bigger than his Universe 2.0 counterpart, or Energon or Superlink counterpart, whichever we want to call him. And is a lot more G1 accurate. Given that Universe 2.0 was a Energon toy to begin with, so it had a completely different aesthetic, this is understandable. But I think for a classic shelf, Combiner Wars Superion is, well, superior. Still, there were add-on kits for Universe Superion, so why don't we take a look how he looks with, how he compares, let's take a look at how Superion compares with Superion with add-on kits. And now we got Combiner Wars Superion with Universe 2.0 Superion with the A3 upgrade kit from Fans Project and the DWY, or hold on, sorry guys, I gotta look at this because DMY upgrade kit for Fans Project's upgrade kit. So yeah, you got two upgrade kits on Superion, and I still think Combiner Wars Superion is superior. And there is one very important reason why. This guy is fun to transform. He's fun to take apart, put together again, rearrange. He is a blast to play with. This guy is good for display, but he is not so fun to play with. And it's the same point with Menasor. These guys win out ultimately because they are fun. These upgrade kits are great for the look, but they kind of kill the play value of them. And yeah, I still think of these as toys and something to be enjoyed. I mean, if you look at them as simply collector pieces to put on display and not enjoy it, then kind of missing a point there. So it's a big factor for these for me is that they gotta be fun. And this guy's fun. He's enjoyable. I could go ahead and take them apart, put them back together, and transform these guys, have a good time, put them back. That's something that's important. I like that, and that's why I'm going to give this guy a thumbs up. I mean, he looks great. He will display wonderfully, but still, most importantly, he's fun to play with. And you can give him to a kid who will enjoy him immensely. You can give him to a teenager or an adult. They will enjoy him immensely. So yeah, Hasbro did a great job. I mean, certainly a much better job than this guy. And I can't wait till we get a Combiner Wars Bruticus, because that is going to be probably one of the best to see. And I'm looking forward to Defensor. And I'm going to be looking forward to Bruticus, and hopefully we'll get a Predaking, a Computron, and an Abominus too. But anyway, now I hope you've enjoyed this review. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe to see more videos from me. And I almost forgot something very important. Sorry guys. One last little thing. And I can't believe I almost forgot this, but you know how G1 Superion on the cartoons had an arm cannon? It's possible to give Combiner Wars Superion an arm cannon, thanks to the way Fireflight's hands transform on the combine mode. Just flip one around. You can attach the big gun on there, and boom, arm cannon. And that looks pretty good. So yeah, with that, I'll see you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe once again. And take care, have fun, and bye-bye.